Okay, so I think it's time to do a couple more of these Arduino starter kit tutorials. And we have the ball switch lesson 8 and we have the servo lesson 9. And right now I have loaded up the ball switch code. I have them both set up simultaneously. You'll see the ball switch will light up an LED, and then the other code will turn this servo motor. Um, and then I have the digital scope, the Handtech digital scope, using Open Handtech software and drivers, because the Windows 11 driver from Handtech wasn't signed or something, and uh, takes a little extra effort to get it to work on Windows 11. And so I'm using the Open Handtech software. And I have the ball switch is on channel 2, and the servo motor is on channel 1. And so you can see it loads up the uh, inputs and outputs and in the initial state. And so if the digital value, if the input is low, it turns off the LED. I'm sorry, if it's high, which it is now, it turns off the LED. And if I take and I have the scope attached to the ball switch on channel 2, and if I take and turn it up, the ball switch causes that to go low, which turns the LED on. So we just can go back and forth, off and on. So that's the ball switch, pretty straightforward. And then the servo motor is a little bit more involved. You have to make sure you include the servo library, um, and then it executes this code where it moves it from 90 degrees to 60 degrees, back to 90, then 120, and then back to 90, 60, and so kind of just once it starts, it kind of goes through this loop. And so I'll load that, and you'll see it on channel 1. As it there it goes. And I changed, so every 5 seconds it'll go to a new position, so you can see more clearly the pulse width tells it what position things are in. And what's interesting to put it on a scope is once it sets the position, I guess, I don't really know. They wrote this library such that it just continuously outputs those pulses, but I think it would hold the position even if you only output one pulse. Because if I go back in and load up the ball switch, and it'll just stay in the last position it was in. So I don't think it needs to continuously output pulses, but it makes it easy to put on the scope, and you can see the magnified waveform here. The pulse widths change. 90 degrees. I'm assuming that's 120, and then the shortest one will be 60. So that's how those work. I think it's pretty cool, and I'm glad I've finally got myself a little bit of a scope set up so we can see how some of these things are working. And let's just kind of go over real quick the PDF file that has the tutorials in them. Let's page fit. Let's go to page width, and they give you a nice components required and a little description of how a ball switch works, and the connection diagram. Let's go connection diagram. It's real simple. It's not polarized, so it doesn't really matter which way you orient the thing. And a diagram of how it should be connected, and then their actual hookup photograph, and then of course the code that they tell you to load. And then the servo is similar. They go through the overview and the parts involved. They have 3 different kinds of levers to attach to it, I guess, for different kinds of projects. Similar connection diagram, and since they use different pins, it was easy to have them both going at the same time. And then they caution you to make sure you load the library for it to work, and then their sample picture. So then eventually we'll go on to lesson 10 with the ultrasonic sensors.